What's up, everybody? Anthony here, Empire Music, empiremusic.com. Phone number at the shop, as always. It's never changed, at least not the 8 years that I've been here, 412-343-5299. My email has also not changed. It's anthony@empiremusic.com. If you're on the website, there's a chat feature, and there is also a trade-in portal. I'm going to talk about that, something that I always forget to talk about. We love trades, so if you're interested in the bass I'm about to show you, or any of the ones that are hanging up behind me, we'll take some trades. We can work out a really, really nice deal for you, so feel free to reach out. Again, chat feature on the website, phone number at the shop, 412-343-5299. So today, I love this bass. I really, really love this bass. Love all three of these basses. We're talking about the brand new, for 2025 collection model, 1966 precision bass, Fender Custom Shop. I do have the guards off of this one, as you can see behind me. They do come with the pickup covers and the ashtray guard over the bridge. I've been taking them off recently for product demos because I like to play a little bit over the pickup here and palm mute back here at the bridge, so it makes it a little bit easier to showcase some of the sounds out of it. But these kind of pop through a little under the radar for me. We're opening boxes up, and this was the first one I opened up, and I'm like, oh my God, what is that? I love it. The reason I love it, finish-wise, this one's in natural, but the natural over the alder body, right? We always see the see-through finishes, natural. I can't even, I'm drawing a blank on the clear finishes, right? But you always see that over ash because they want to see the grain popping of ash. It is a more, it's a busier grain than the more subdued and nuanced beauty of alder. But I love when I see natural finished alder guitars, basses. I just always think it looks so good. Again, subtle, subdued. It's a little bit more nuanced in the grain, and I really like that. Plus, I like the tone of alder personally more than ash. I know I own some ash basses. They're great. That I'm not talking anything bad about ash basses. They're nice. For me though, specifically on a P bass, I really do like what alder gives me from a warmth and where that mid-range focus lies with alder, which is why when we designed our Empire 58 basses, we went with a roasted alder body to even warm that alder up a little bit more. So have this 66 in natural. We also have it in Lake Placid blue and 3-color sunburst. All three of them have, like, not the mint green guard, the brand new, very NOS looking stark white pick guard, and I think it looks awesome on all three finishes. Gives it a nice little modern touch. That with the mother of pearl inlays on that kind of lets you know this has separated itself from a lot of the custom shop instruments that we see early 60s, late 50s, right? And that's kind of the golden era of vintage, what people are looking for. So I know why Fender recreates a lot of instruments in those eras, but it's really cool to see something a little bit later pushing here in a 66. So what's happening in 66? Why is that a cool year? Well, you know, that's the beginning of the CBS era. Nobody wants that stuff, right? That's wrong. It's just that early on, this stuff was so rock solid. It wasn't until the 70s into the 80s we really started seeing some inconsistencies and some production problems with the models. And that all being said, I love 70s models, Fenders, whether it be a P or a J. Chances are it could be heavy, not always. And you want to, that's the kind of bass you want to play. You want to make sure it sounds good. When you nail a good 70s model, they're killing. But this is still a pretty sought-after era here, so 66, right into the CBS era. You know, Fender was sold to CBS in 65. Spec-wise, it has the 6570 pickup in that. I like that pickup a lot. You could hear the intro there. There is a punch while having warmth. I talk a lot about mid-range character when I talk about P basses because I'm really finding that the pickup eras and the windings and the differences, the nuances from all the way back to, let's eliminate the single coil P pickup. That's kind of its own thing. But if we would talk about a 57 hand wound all the way up to something modern, like say, I don't know, like a Duncan quarter pounder, right? There's all, the P-bass character's always there. You never get away from it. Great example. I just shot a video on the new Player 2 Mod series, right? That has a brighter, much more modern sounding pickup, kind of akin to the Duncan design, the quarter pounder. It's still sounds like a P pickup. You never get away from that. I find that the detail and the separation between them, and there's no right or wrong here, that's the beauty. If you've ever talked to me about anything, music, art, creativity, or anything, there's no right or wrong. There's just different ways to go about it. There's different things that fit for the player. But the mid-range presence in all of those pickups is where I find the details and the separation, the nuance, and sometimes not so nuanced differences really lie upper mid-range, lower mid-range. No exception here with the 6570 pickup. I find that the kind of upper mid-range punch and character is very, very present in that because, again, we're going to go back to the year. This is 66. What's happening in music? Music's getting louder. Drummers are playing harder to fight against high-gain guitars. High-gain guitars are then getting louder to fight against the drummer, and the cymbals are getting heavier. Don't ever underestimate how loud heavier cymbals can be and all that cut. Bass players were fighting through the mix too back then, so they're winding pickups hotter, they're getting a little bit more output, but you still have the classic split coil design, so never gets away. When I say modern P-bass sound or louder P-bass sound, keep in mind you're still going to have the P-bass character, just with a slightly different focus on where I find that mid-range is. They're always going to have good low end. They're always going to have a crisp top end on it. When you dig into it, you get that transient off of the fretting hand and the plucking hand. Now, with the rosewood fretboard on this, and this is a AAA rosewood fretboard on it, it's beautiful on this instrument and all three of these. These have dynamite fretboards on them and great fret work as well. I noticed every one of these right out of the case. I almost had to look and see if they were master built on the back. That's how nice this fretwork was out of this. But they've selected beautiful pieces of AAA rosewood. But some of that transient, that little bit of bite is subdued a little bit and kind of caressed into submission a bit whenever we deal with that hotter pickup, but with the rosewood fretboard on it. 60s oval C, maple neck. It's very comfortable. That's the neck profile that I chose to do our Empire 58s with. I think that gives a lot of, it has enough kind of heft to satisfy the true vintage player. It has enough lack of heft, for lack of a better term, that will satisfy the modern player too. So the 60s oval C kind of sits right in the middle. All in all, just an absolutely beautiful bass. And tonality wise, you know, really simple control layout. As always with P basses, I forget that somebody may not know. You just have a volume and a tone. That's why P basses are great. They're so simple to use. But in that simplicity, they're also very exposing. So technique's bad, back here, up here, palm muting, whatever it's gonna be. Fretting hand gets a little bit jumbled up. Lord knows mine does all the time. A P bass will expose some of those flaws in your playing, which I had a customer a few months ago come in and he was like, yeah, they intimidate me. I was like, what do you mean by that? I never thought of that. He's like, yeah, P basses intimidate me because they really bring out the flaws in my playing. But I want one because I feel like I'm going to become a better player because of it. And ended up getting one of our Empire 58s out of it. And I didn't think about that. And I went home and I play my P basses 90% of the time, but I was also grabbing, like I have a modulus bass and an LRX, some nice active electronics things, I guess is the point. Opposite P bass, and I was playing them like, oh yeah, he's right. Like it is a very, it's a very naked sounding bass because they're very raw, very impactful with that too. So full volume, full tone. Let's dive through some of the sounds. Enough talking, right? It's a great playing bass, such an easy playing bass, right? But you hear that bite, that upper mid-range. Now we take a little tone off on that. know, and again, we subdue some of those high frequencies, but even if we roll the tone all the way off, right? Yeah, that muffles the sound, but there's still a top end presence to that. It's just, it's pushed to the background, but there's still a bite to those pickups. And I really like it. It's very, very nice sounding. Very different from what I'm used to, again, with the Empire 58s, the late 50s, early 60s thing. With a pick, very good too. There's just a punch and a character to these. It's really nice. Now that's going to be great with palm muting as well, because you get so much low end out of palm muting, and it really saps that top end out. You bring it back in a little bit with these 6570 pickups in there, which again, I'm becoming a really big fan of these pickups. Then slap. This might be my favorite custom shop P pickup for slap, because as we do start to graduate into that, I'm going to say it again, that more modern P-bass sound, I think that really lends itself well to the slap thing. It's such an easy playing bass. I can like fly around on this. That's not normally my style of playing, but it's playing so simple. Setup wise too, this was right out of the box. It was like absolutely dialed in. If this isn't on the website in the next few days, there's probably a good reason to that. I might take it home with me. That's great. It's really, really nice. Let's roll some tone off, see where we're at. All right, and then back to full volume, full tone. I'm having too much fun with this bass, honestly. Raspy, big, punchy P bass thing going on. That's crushing. Awesome, awesome bass. So 1966 Fender Custom Shop P bass. That's a new 2025 collection model. We have it at the time of filming this. Natural, or this might be in my car on the way home. Lake Placid blue, 3-color sunburst. I've played all 3 of these. They're all really, really nice. It was hard for me to pick which one to play, but I really do have some affection towards this natural alder body on this. Excellent, excellent bass. Give me a call at the shop, 412-343-5299. Email me directly to Anthony@empiremusic.com. Thanks for watching. See you next time.